This is what I plan to be the first video in a series called Cryptid Compilation, where I look over and debunk videos with mysterious creatures and cryptids and ruin them for everyone who enjoys believing that such creatures are still alive. I will be using the term cryptard a lot, which was originally used to refer to people who are overly obsessed with cryptocurrency, but in my series I will use it to refer to people who are overly obsessed with cryptids and or think everything they see is a cryptid. No offense to people who use Bitcoin. Up first, we have a popular video with millions of views called Elk Hunters Encounter Bigfoot, starring Tim Wells, a popular sportsman who prefers more primitive methods of hunting, and his channel is almost completely dedicated to archery hunting. Besides this video, of course. I can't tell whether or not it was made as a joke, because it's obviously fake, but he does nothing to imply that it's all a joke. My use of this video should be protected by YouTube's terms of fair use, and I've already seen others upload this same video without the intention of criticism, and they haven't gotten in any trouble as far as I know.
I'm coming down here, I'm beat, get my gear off, get ready to eat. All of a sudden Eric's like, oh my gosh, big bear, big bear. I grab my bow, I raise up, I look down the hill, and it is the freaking tallest bear walking on two legs I've ever seen in my life.
So it must be 6 feet or maybe even 10 feet, depending on which species of bear you're referring to. Much taller than a human, right?
But the moment I realize, I turn to get Eric to turn on the camera. He's already filming at that point.
Yeah, I didn't get pushed on play until...
But when did you realize it wasn't a bear?
Well, when I realized it wasn't a bear, when we were sitting here and with the foliage and everything, the undergrowth here, it looked like a bear because all I seen was the brown coming through. But then as I got the camera and stood up and you grabbed your bow, when it stopped right there at that pine. When it stopped at that pine right next to us, it stared at us, which seemed like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was staring back for a long time. At that point, I knew it wasn't a bear. Give me the camera.
The first time I seen this, my eyes rolled back into my skull. I fell back in my chair, laughing hysterically like a madman, and I suffered from brain damage. As you can see, this legendary Sasquatch is indistinguishable from a man in a gorilla suit. It's also about the same size of a person.
Give me the camera!
This is irrational behavior from a man encountering a large and potentially dangerous creature in the wilderness away from civilization. Your friend is already filming the creature, so there is no need for you to drop your only means of self-defense from the creature just to do what your friend is already doing. Any sane person would keep his weapon by his side to use just in case.
Oh.
So not only did he just throw his bow to the side, which is really expensive, and grab the camera for no reason, but he also chases after the man in the suit. Oh, sorry, I mean Bigfoot. Just some more dramatic and irrational behavior you would expect in a hoaxed video.
Eric, get out, get my bow, get out. Eric, come here. Come here. Where's my bow?
Now he realized his mistake of throwing his bow away while chasing after a giant monster.
Oh my God, listen.
Listen to what? The creature just tried to get away from you. It's not going to make a noise and give away its position to you.
Shh. Listen.
And it did just that. Wonderful. What a surprise. So up next we have a video from Informed Overload called Watch This Monster Spotted on Land.
A strange dinosaur-like creature was photographed in a small Scottish town.
Scotland. Of course. Where else would you find a large, cold-blooded prehistoric reptile but in the cold northern reaches of Britain?
It makes you wonder, can Nessie walk on land?
No, it makes me wonder why humans always jump to the most ludicrous conclusions when there are more reasonable explanations for the unknown.
Welcome back to I.O. I'm Charlotte Dobry, and I gotta say, this picture had me stumped.
Of course you're befuddled.
I mean, if it's not a screenshot from Jurassic Park, what the heck is it? 66-year-old Jimmy Wright was walking his son's dog last week in the Stirlingshire village of Killearn. He looked to see a strange-looking creature and began walking towards it.
Yet another individual who's potentially risking his life to take a low-quality image of an unknown creature.
So even though many thought that this creature could have been alive, there are also many others that say it could have been something as simple as an oddly shaped tree trunk.
Tree trunks and logs get mistaken for monsters all the time, like the infamous Champagne Lake monster, Champ.
I don't know about that though. If it's a tree trunk, it's an extremely oddly shaped tree trunk. It looks exactly like a dinosaur perched up on its hind legs.
It looks like a dinosaur, and you can't prove that it's not a dinosaur, therefore it could be a dinosaur. This seems like an argument from ignorance.
What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments below.
David, it's a penis! Oh, it's the biggest penis I've ever seen!
My explanation? There is a reason there is only one still, blurry image of this object and not a high-definition video of it, because the person taking the photo saw a stump that kind of looked like a dinosaur and saw an opportunity to create yet another prehistoric monster hoax in Scotland. Had he taken more pictures, people would have seen that the object wasn't moving. I would also like to point out the lower half of the object in the picture. During this video, they constantly kept zooming in on the head and the neck region, no doubt to shy away from its massive rear end and its massive chest and its lack of a tail. If you were to crop off the long neck and the reptilian-like head, it would look like a regular stump. This next video is called 5 Mysterious Dinosaurs / Extinct Creatures Caught on Camera from that creepypasta guy. No, that's the name of his channel. Now, the first creature he shows is a frilled shark. I'm skipping this one because, well, for obvious reasons.
Ever since 1934, there have been many sightings of the Plesiosaurus, or more famously known as the Loch Ness Monster.
He speaks like that's a fact or something. Most, if not all, of these sightings were either hoaxes or could be explained by normal occurrences or by other creatures that are known to live in the lake. Very little of what cryptids call evidence can be used to prove that there is such a creature in the lake.
These videos were all taken from Loch Ness in Scotland.
There are hundreds of supposed Loch Ness monster sighting videos you can find all over the internet, including what this guy shows that were not even filmed near the Loch Ness.
And supposedly is actual footage of the prehistoric monster. Also, these species are actually 205 million years old and were extremely common during the Jurassic period.
Captain Obvious here needs a promotion. A promotion to Admiral Obvious. Of course they were common at the time that they were common.
So, do you think it's a dinosaur?
Stop right there. Stop right there. That is obviously a whale and not a plesiosaur.
Or is there another explanation?
There is an explanation for all the videos you have shown so far. That one's a whale. That one, it could be a female moose or a bear swimming across a lake, and it doesn't even look like it's in Ireland.
This video was apparently taken in Russia by an engineer.
That is a bear with a fish in its mouth.
This video is from within the...
Stop right there. Once again. Here's a trend on YouTube where people post videos of large sharks and claim it's a megalodon. They even do it for whale sharks. And this is kind of one of those examples because this is footage of a Pacific sleeper shark. Also, this shark was not presumed extinct, so there's no reason for it to be on this list. This guy does less research than I do. He also states the video was shot from within the Mariana Trench, which is a lie. It was filmed in the bottom of Surigo Bay in Japan, which is close, but it just goes to show you how little research he put into this cryptid.
In 2014, a mysterious creature washed up on the coast of Pukehina in New Zealand. It was 7.5 meters long and decomposed.
But let me guess, you think it's a prehistoric reptile, don't you?
But despite that, certain areas of the body were still in pretty good condition. A lot of people think that it's the remains of an orca whale, which of course is a possibility.
It's not just a possibility, it's a fact. The corpse of a killer whale, both the locals and the scientists say so, and I think the input of people who live near the ocean or study marine wildlife have more authority on this subject than you do. A guy who can't tell a sleeper shark from a megalodon or a whale from a plesiosaur. But you have your subjective bias and you would rather go off on it, wouldn't you?
And it shares many similarities with one.
By many similarities, you mean the dorsal fin that is similar to that of a killer whale, The skull, the DNA, and all the other gory stuff that you failed to recognize.
However, there are some distinct key features that are different, such as the tail and some features of the jaw.
Whale corpses become highly disfigured after a while, and get mistaken for monster corpses all the time, so it's no surprise its lower jaw is popping out of its head and that its skin is stretched and coming loose, making it look like another creature.
Many others, though, believe it to be a juvenile mosasaur.
You mean like young Earth creationists and cryptards. Take a look at the skull of the corpse and compare that to a mosasaur and a killer whale. They look similar, but as you can see, the killer whale's teeth and skull structure are identical to that of the corpse, while the mosasaur has thinner teeth and the teeth are farther apart, and it has a thinner, longer skull than that of the corpse. Perhaps it's a different species of mosasaur, or it's a further evolved species, but you are simply grasping at straws if you want to go that far and say it's an aquatic prehistoric reptile instead of a normal killer whale.
Which was thought to be extinct 66 million years ago.
It was thought to be extinct millions of years ago, and it still is thought to be extinct, by the way. This killer whale corpse didn't change that idea at all. Alright, that's it for this episode of Cryptid Compilation.